Hi, in this video we are going to see about row and column widget. Now I am opening the Visual Studio Code and emulator. So this is a continuation of the previous video. In the previous video we have seen about this container. So now we are going for column and row widget. For that now I am going to design the profile page. So in the profile page we want to make the changes. So I am going for profile.dart. Initially I am just running the program to see the output. So how to run the program? You can go for Visual Studio Code at the top, run and start debugging. Else you can go for terminal and you can type flutter space run. So this helps you to run the Flutter application. So if you want the emulator to be launched, you can go for view command palette and there you can type it as launch emulator. So if you have already emulators, then it will be loaded. Else we want to create a new emulator and we want to run it. Okay. Now if I am clicking on the profile page is navigated. I am just keeping in that. First we can see about column widget. When we need column means when you want all the widgets to be arranged vertically one by one downwards, then we can go for column widget. Whereas if you want side by side means we can go for row widget. First we can see about column widget. So I am just in the container I am adding the child as column. So this will have, since we have number of widgets, so it will be of array. So the attribute name is children, so it is an array. Now I want a text as my profile. So now in the emulator you can see that my profile text is there. Now I'm going to add another one text. So text, let us make it as name Thiru. Now I saved it, so you can see that name Thiru is also there. Now I'm going to add text skills. So I added my skills over there. Okay, now you can see that my profile, name and Thiru, skills, Android, Flutter and iOS. These three things are in vertically arranged one by one. So this is a use of column. If you want any widgets to be arranged one below other, this yellow color is a container. So I place the column inside the container. So it is growing according to the size of the widgets inside the column. Now I want a full width. So for that there is one attribute in column, cross axis alignment for column will be at the horizontal way. So I'm just making this cross axis alignment dot stretch. Now you can see that this container is grown. Okay, you can see the my profile name and skills. Initially it was centered alignment, now it got to the left. So you can see that my profile name Thiru and skills is arranged to end. So if you go for start, then it all comes to the left alignment. So same way you can go for center. By default it will be of center, so I'm just making it as stretch. Okay, so here you can see this yellow color is covered fully. That means that the column has the full height of the device. So for that we can reduce the column size by using main axis size. So main axis size dot min. The container is, I gave yellow color, so the column size is reduced based upon the content. Now I am going to use it as max. So now it is fully covered. Okay, now I want this profile name and skills to be eventually occupying the space in the given area. So for that we can go for main axis alignment. So main axis alignment cross stretch, which is used for horizontally growing the column, horizontal alignment part, whereas this is of vertical alignment part. So I am just giving it as main axis alignment dot. You can give center, end or space around, space between, space evenly and tar. So now I am going to give it as space evenly. So now you can see that my profile name and skills are equally occupying the space in the column. So this is what the use of space evenly. Same way if I am going for space between, so now you can see that my profile goes to the top and the spaces are added between the different widgets. So this is what space between. If I am giving it as center, now the content is moved to the center. So this is the use of main axis alignment. Okay, so I want a design like my profile to be at the center and name to be aligned left, and these both dots should be in the same line, and after that the text should be there. Okay, so this is what we are going to design it. Now I want this name and the skills to be aligned in the same way through T, and you can see that Android A is aligned in the same line. So for that we can make use of the widget called as a row widget. So simple, I added row widget. Now I'm going to add a row widget for this name Thiru. So we want three text should be there. So I'm going to make it as name text. I want a colon to be there. Then I want a name. So for that I'm just making it as text. So now I added 3 text in a row. So each and everything will be aligned in horizontal manner. Now I already saved this code. So nothing happens in the UI. Why it is not happen means we didn't do any alignment. So it is arranged in the row. So same way I'm just adding the row for the skills as well. So skills, I'm just adding colon and text Android Flutter iOS. So now I added 2 rows. Now you can see this colons are not arranged properly. For that, whatever the things we used in the column, the same will be applicable here. So if you want the main axis, so for testing this main axis size, I'm just wrapping with the container. So I'm just giving it as light blue color. So for checking this main axis thing, I'm just going for this container. Okay, now you can see that the whole row is of light blue color. So now I'm using main axis size as min, and I'm just running it. So now I'm adding main axis size for the row. So I'm just making this main axis size colon main axis size dot min. So now I'm setting it as minimum value. So I'm just running it. So nothing happened. So why nothing is happened means we have given that cross alignment axis for the column as stretch. So we are using the row inside the column. This container will be stretched to the whole width. To check the functionality, I am just commenting this cross alignment axis dot stretch. So now you can see that aligned to the center and the whole row width is reduced. So now at the bottom you can see that for the skills the row width is fully covered. So only it is in the left alignment part. Now I'm just making as max and I'm saving. Now it's fully covered. So this is a use of main axis size. So if I'm using the main axis alignment as center, now the value comes to the center part in the row. So whereas here the main axis works in the horizontal manner, cross axis check for the vertical manner. Now I'm going to make main axis alignment center as space evenly. So the similar way I'm doing it for the skills as well. Now you see that actually we want this name and skills to be arranged in the same line, and similarly the colons and also the values what we are entering. For that there is another one widget called expanded. So I'm going to make use of that, make this text widget in expanded. So similarly for Thiru, so I'm doing it for skills as well as the Android Flutter. So it's very simple. I just put expanded for the name and expanded for Thiru and expanded for skills and expanded for this Android Flutter and iOS. Now you can see that name and skills are arranged in the straight line. So colons also accurate. I want these values like Thiru and Android Flutter and iOS should occupy more space than this titles like name skills. So for that there is an option of splitting the available area using the attribute named as flux. So I'm going to make it as 1 for name, and for Thiru I'm going to make it as 5. So similarly for skills I'm going to make it as 1, and for this Android and Flutter I'm going to make it as 5. This is like a ratio. So this flux is like a ratio. So this name will occupy 1 ratio, whereas this Thiru and Android Flutter iOS will occupy 5 ratio spaces. Okay, now now you can see that the available area got increased for those values. I'm going to make this profile little bit bigger. So as usual we want to use a style property. So text style font size of 24. I'm giving font weight as bold. Okay, now I'm just enabling this cross alignment stretch in the column. Now we added my profile and that got little bit bigger. I want the padding to be given, so I'm just wrapping this text widget with padding I'm going to give it as 8. So there is a widget called padding to give the spaces. So by using this padding widget, we can give the padding for the widgets which are available inside. So I'm just giving the whole column with padding of 16 and this profile of 8. Since I enabled this cross alignment axis stretch, so this profile comes to the left hand side. So for that, I'm just by using this text align property, I'm just align the text to the center. So now I'm going to give a text style for this title and the value. So I'm going to give the style as text style, font size of 20 and color as gray color for the title. So same for skills. So I'm going for title, I'm going to give it as 16 and gray color. So I'm going to give the same to the skills as well. Okay, now I am removing this yellow color. So we want a better font size, so I'm just increasing to 18. For these values, I'm going to give it as font size of 20. So since those titles are much lighter, so I'm going to give the shade for the gray color. So if you point the pointer on this particular colors.gray, you can find we can give shades for this gray color by using the square bracket. So I'm going to give 700, or you can give gray dot shade 700. Both are equal. You can give it as gray square bracket of 700, or you can provide a dot and you can shade 700. So a little bit darker now. So I'm going to remove this blue color container and I'm just giving it as padding for that. Padding of 8 and here also padding of 8. Okay. Now I'm going to add further skills over here. So I added further more skills. You can see that this Android and the next line PHP, those combinations are much closer. So to increase this particular line height, there is an option called height. I'm going to give it as 1.5, which means that I just given 20 as a font size. Now it will increase the spaces by 1.5. So now you can see that the line height got increased. If you want furthermore, I am just making it as double the height. Now I increased the line height by further. Now you can see that the skills is at the center, whereas Android goes up and C++ comes down. That means that in the row, the skills is aligned to the center. This colon is also aligned to the center. Okay, for that we can make use of cross axis alignment. I'm making it as start. So now you can see that the skill goes up and Android comes down. This is because of the height we gave. So for that we want to give height for all the text widgets including the colon. So I'm going to add the height, which is of since the font size is 20 here, I just used 2 means it will be little bit higher. So there is a font size variation, so I'm just giving it as 2.2, same for colon. So now we have aligned all the things. So a little bit space over here we gave padding. I want more space. There is a widget called as a SizedBox, so we can set the height for it. So height of I'm going to give 10. If you want any empty spaces to be there and all, we can go for this SizedBox. In the SizedBox we have the parameters like height, we can give width. So if you want in the row, if you want any particular width to be there, then we can add a SizedBox of width equal to whatever you want, you can give it out. So I'm just making it as 24. So this is about SizedBox, which is we almost achieved our expected UI of this particular thing. So in this we seen about row widget, column widget and expanded widget. Thank you. If you have any suggestions, you just drop it in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe our channel for further videos.